Hey, what's up everyone? Hope you're doing good. This one feels especially packed, especially with Season 17 officially rolling in alongside a brand new DLC region and a long list of mechanical tweaks, fixes, and quiet quality of life changes that are actually going to affect how you play moment to moment. Right away, the biggest thing people are going to notice is the new region added with Season 17. This region is inspired by West Asian terrain, and it really changes the pacing compared to some of the colder, slower maps we've been grinding through in earlier seasons. The terrain here is much drier, more rugged, and honestly more deceptive than it looks at first glance. You'll have wide open stretches that feel safe until your suspension suddenly gives up on you, and narrow paths that force you to think carefully about weight balance, tire choice, and approach angles. The contracts in this region lean more into infrastructure rebuilding and long-haul logistics, which means planning routes actually matters again instead of brute forcing everything with your biggest truck. Vehicle-wise, this update brings in new trucks that immediately shake up the garage meta. One of them leans more toward high-speed stability and efficiency, while the other feels like a classic heavy-duty workhorse with a lot of torque and adaptability. Neither of them feels like a straight-up replacement for existing fan favorites, and that's honestly a good thing. They're situational, and you'll find yourself switching depending on the job instead of defaulting to the same solution every time. That balance is something SnowRunner has struggled with in the past, so it's nice to see more thoughtful tuning here. One of the most talked about changes in this update is what they did with the Tatra 805. This truck has always been kind of awkward, sitting in a weird spot where it didn't fully shine in any role. With this update, it's been reworked and reclassified as a scout, and that single decision completely changes how useful it feels. The updated winch options and towing hook adjustments mean it can finally support scout trailers properly, and suddenly it makes sense as a forward reconnaissance and light recovery vehicle instead of a confused middle child that didn't know what it wanted to be. There are also quieter vehicle adjustments spread across the roster, especially for some of the TZ vehicles. Steering behavior, suspension responses, and overall handling have been refined. And while none of this is going to slap you in the face immediately, you'll feel it after a few hours of driving. Trucks feel slightly more predictable in rough terrain, and small corrections don't punish you as hard as they used to. This is the kind of tuning that doesn't get a lot of hype, but genuinely improves the experience over time. Add-ons and cargo options also got some love here. Season 17 introduces new cargo types tied specifically to the new region's contracts, which forces you to rethink load management. Some deliveries require longer, more awkward cargo that tests trailer stability, especially on uneven roads. It's not just about horsepower anymore, it's about control and patience, which fits SnowRunner's identity perfectly. On the technical side, this update includes a solid batch of bug fixes and performance improvements across platforms. Console players should notice smoother performance in busier areas, fewer random stutters, and better stability in co-op sessions. Multiplayer has been steadily improving patch by patch, and while it's not flawless, this update continues to reduce desync issues, especially when dealing with trailers and cargo physics. UI elements also feel a bit cleaner and more responsive, particularly in the garage menus and map navigation. Another subtle but important improvement is how certain terrain interactions behave. Mud and loose dirt feel slightly more consistent, which means fewer moments where your truck just randomly decides it's done cooperating. These changes don't make the game easier, but they make it fairer. And that distinction matters a lot in a game where progress can already be slow and methodical. Overall, Season 17 feels like a confidence update. It doesn't try to reinvent SnowRunner, and it doesn't overload you with gimmicks. Instead, it expands the world, refines existing systems, and quietly fixes long-standing annoyances that veteran players have been complaining about for ages. Whether you're jumping in for the new region, experimenting with the updated vehicles, or just enjoying a smoother overall experience, this update respects your time in a way that really stands out. By the time you've spent a few hours in the new maps and adjusted to the vehicle changes, it becomes clear that this isn't just more content for the sake of it. It's a reminder of why SnowRunner still works so well years after launch. Slow, deliberate progress, meaningful upgrades, and that constant feeling of earning every successful delivery, one muddy meter at a time.